Okay, so very excited to be here at Toni Carmine Salerno's studio. Is this actually your studio?
No, this is actually my wife's studio.
Oh, that's
She
right.
does Reiki.
But
My
you-
studio's upstairs,
Okay, your studio's upstairs,
and it's
but
a
you have.
big mess, so we won't go up there.
Is it?
It's a disaster.
But we obviously have a lot of your artwork around this beautiful area, but also, what is this? Is this storage, or has people
they're
bought
just-
these?
No, it's paintings that are just stored, really, and we got nowhere else to put them. So at the moment, they're just in Martine's studio.
Okay, well
or
we
healing
might.
room.
We might go and have a little bit of a snoop at those at some point. But this is my favourite Oracle card deck. And I have probably got, actually, you know what, I've probably got about 6 different decks now. I've got the original Doreen Virtue, which are beautiful, and I still use them. I have Stacey DeMarco's Gods and Titans.
Which we publish,
Yes, and then Goddesses and Sirens.
Yes.
Is it?
Gods and Titans. Gods and Titans.
Yeah, Gods and
Goddesses
Titans.
and Sirens. Yes.
Goddesses and Sirens. Then I've got romance cards. Anyway, cut a long story short, these are my favourite. And actually, before I bought these cards and became aware of you, I actually bought, I think it's this image.
The actual print, yeah.
Yeah, the actual print. Get a load of that.
That one's called the Radio, which...
Aradia.
Aradia,
Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
And she was a witch in the 13th century.
Is that right?
Yes, she was witch. The real meaning of witch is, somebody that's deeply reveres nature and spiritual, but reveres nature, and that was known as the old religion.
Right.
Even though Catholicism and Christianity had well and truly had been entrenched for 1,300 years in Italy, she still held on to, and there was a few people that still held on to what they called the old religion, which was about nature, which we call witchcraft, but
of course.
that's what it was.
So that was kind of what it was known as before even witchcraft.
Yes,
Well, that's interesting,
the old
isn't it?
religion. Yeah, that's how they refer to it. Because Christianity had been there for quite a long time, 1,300 years, but this was the old religion.
Before that. Wow.
It's really beautiful.
It's really beautiful, and because I actually bought it from the Adelaide Healing Energy Centre, who had a lot of your works on display. So, I think, your pieces are, I don't know, they're very engaging, and I really enjoy the process of which ones that really stood out for me. So I had a little budget that I could afford 2 of them. So I got that one, and I got this other one on the back here.
Oh yeah, acceptance.
Which is it's probably a little bit too small to see, but so the line under there, what was that called? That piece was called Acceptance.
Yep.
Do you remember doing that piece, or what the acceptance?
Well, basically, everything I paint, and in fact, even things I write, I actually don't think about. I just...
Where does it come from?
Well, it comes just deep from within, just sort of connect to, and, the space that's inside all of us. And this is exactly the same one space, really. It's just really a feeling, it's just a space of love and spiritual energy or bliss or whatever you want to call it. And I just connect to that. It's just a heartfelt sort of energy and space, and so nothing. Whenever I paint anything, I actually don't see it in my mind's eye. I don't imagine.
So it's not like a musician that suddenly starts hearing something and has to get it down.
Well, it is like that, but it is like that, but I don't envisage it first, if you know what I mean. It's just that like a musician would start to hear notes and he would just put them down, start writing them as he's hearing them in his mind. I'm the same with painting, but I don't see the complete image till it's finished, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, right.
Very unusual process. It's not the way most people work, and that's fine. But I understand that. But it's just the way that it's the only way that I can really work. And so all the titles of the paintings are just, that's just something that comes after I've finished the painting or the piece. and I just look at it, and if a word or if a title comes to me, I just call it that. So in fact, I really, even while painting, and I don't have a big recollection of it all, or there was no purpose to painting it, or there was no overriding.
It's almost like a little bit of, creative amnesia. It's just suddenly
It is.
there.
It's just done on a feeling level. So you engage just sort of on an emotional level, spiritual, emotional level, without really having to worry about what it is, what it means, who it is. And I think that's why some people connect to my work, is because they're connecting to, it's not the look of it or that I'm a great painter or anything like that, or even writer. It's just they're connecting to that energy that I was connected to while I was doing that or writing that.
And do you think, because your images are very interesting, but they're also very strong in colour, and I really respond strongly to colour, which is an energy and a vibration in itself.
Exactly they are.
Yeah.
Every colour's a vibration and energy, and I think that's part of what people feel in the work.
Yes. They
Again,
don't realise why they like it, but it's
yeah. And again, I never stop to think about what colour should I use next.
Right.
What colour should that be? I mean, if I do that, the whole thing sort of stops, and then I'm in my head, and then I'm thinking, God, what am I doing? And I just can't paint.
Yeah.
So.
Because can I look at this?
Yes.
Speaking of colour, come over here. I mean, these colours I love greens and purples, and they're so beautiful. I mean, do you remember painting this and what that's about? Like, what is that? Well, I guess
I don't really,
snakes?
to be honest, I really don't know. I really don't know. It's just, I mean, you could probably write a book about it, maybe, or different people could write different things about it. But I really, to be honest, I mean, obviously it's a tree. Behind there is a tree, and there's a moon within the tree, or behind the tree, or coming through. I'm not sure what the snakes or the kundalini kind of thing means.
And you've got the affinity signs
there's
here.
infinity sign. I mean, it's a bit like in dreams, like when you dream something, it makes a lot of sense when you're dreaming.
Yeah.
And then you wake up and you want to tell somebody you're dreaming.
And it doesn't seem logical.
No, it doesn't seem logical at all, So.
And that's when I think people don't interpret their dreams very well, because they say, oh, it didn't really make any sense, because then there was this snake over, sort of, over here and up here, but that's not. It's not how it's supposed to.
No,
to
I
be
mean, I go to a
interpreted.
dream group, a really good dream group. Actually, I've been going for a year, and with a psychologist, Chris Caldwell, and every few weeks. And it's one of the things with dreams is there's no, if you try to get the meaning of it, it's sort of like a bit of a mistake, because you'll never grasp the full meaning. But you can talk about it, and people can ask questions about the dreamer, what the dreamer dreamt and what things might mean. But ultimately, it's only the person who dreams the thing that can actually shed light on it the most.
That's right. And they've got I think, like, I'm really into dreams, and I think I've actually become very good at interpreting my own dreams. And sometimes when I'm in the dream, I'll actually realise that I've disconnected from it, and so even though I was in it, like I can see myself or feel myself in it, I'll suddenly disconnect from it and say, oh, I see what you're telling me here. Oh, okay, right. And then I sort of pop out.
Yeah. It's almost a bit like kind of a type of lucid dreaming, isn't it?
Yeah, it's weird.
Where you're aware of that you're dreaming, I think.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, but it's sort of interesting. But I'm definitely, I don't overthink in the human way of dreams. I know for a fact that whatever's going on in the dream is actually about me. Yeah. I have had sort of premonitions before, but I know when they're premonitions.
That can happen, yeah.
But as long as you kind of, I always have a classic one that, I was dreaming about Jennifer Aniston, and I was watching her, and she was with some guy, and I was sitting there going, oh, God, lighten up. You're going to lose him. If you don't lighten up, I'll take him. And then a couple of days later, I'm driving in my car, and I suddenly went, no, that was about you.
Yeah, definitely.
You were the one that needs to lighten up about guys. Definitely. She was a representation of you, the unlucky in love, and an aspect of me.
Just a reflection of you.
Just a symbol, yeah. Let's go to another one of your paintings. So this is
This is a recent sort of tree. I'm into trees. You know, trees are a big theme in my art. They're becoming more and more of a theme.
Yeah.
Whether they're trees that look like women or, you know, part tree, part woman.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just really, really fascinated more and more by trees. And so it's, to me, this is just like, almost like the aura around the trees.
The tree.
And the landscape.
We just saw Maleficent. It's kind of reminding me a little bit of Maleficent.
Oh, really?
It's forest there. Yeah, we're right into that. Now, I want to talk also about, there's a lot of women and obviously the female facial figures in a lot of your paintings, but there's also a few very sexy ones. The one that I just sort of was picking up there, was it Aqua Dreaming or... Turquoise Dreaming.
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that, and it's obviously a beautiful woman with a gorgeous figure. I heard that that's your wife, or you've based those on your wife. Is that true, or was that originally...
It was originally the case, maybe. You know, you just get influenced by the way she looks.
Yeah.
But, and a lot of people think that, but not necessarily, no. It's just, I mean, again, I don't know. You know. It's just I paint things and they turn out looking a certain way, and people say, yeah, that looks like Martine or whatever. But.
And I was kind of... well, very excited for you, but also thought I was pretty cool at you know, finding your cards, and because I came across them in this wonderful big spiritual shop in LA, and they were, you know, they were sort of right up there with a whole lot of other oracle cards, and you know, they're obviously have connected and sell really well all over the world.
All over the world now.
Oh,
I mean, it's been a really interesting journey because I started Blue Angel and publishing.
Yeah.
And well, in fact, on all these paintings have actually been created in this upstairs in my studio here.
Wow.
And
gone all the way around
and they have
the world.
slowly, after so many years, they're now all over in so many countries.
Yeah.
Well, in many languages, and you know, from Japan and even Asia and all different European countries.
And trendy old cool
Norway,
LA.
you know. Yeah, America's becoming bigger and bigger for us now.
That's
so it's just cool,
wonderful.
but it's taken years and years and years of, you know,
Waiting for it to connect.
well,
and see.
of constant, you know, work and
Like the tree, all the little, you know, leaves and branches that have eventually kind of grown and gone all over the place.
Yeah, it is like that. And it's a really nice feeling that finally, after, you know, so much work, and you know, so many times along the way I felt like giving up. I thought, oh my God, I should go get a real job, you know.
Yeah, well, it's not exactly something you'd go to sort of Centrelink to try and get into, is it?
But it's funny, every time I really did have, you know, probably hundreds of times where I thought, you know, I really, you know, I should probably just forget this and, you know, it's a bit of a dream and get a real job, really.
Yeah.
Because, you know, and every time I ever thought that, I mean, without fail, something would happen. Somebody would buy a painting.
To encourage
somebody
you.
would email. Somebody would do something.
Yeah.
You know, something really positive happened, and I'd say, okay, I'll give it another few months. You know, it's gone on, but you know, that was a while back now.
Now it's just happening,
it's just,
and it is what it
yeah.
is, and you wouldn't be leaving it.
No.
I love it. Okay, before we finish this video, I just want to do it a little bit, come close and just have a little bit of a look at these pretty, beautiful images. And so so these are, you know, like the angel cards and like all the other oracle cards, in that, you know, you can pull, that's the acceptance one. And, you know, the acceptance one for me, I know, was very symbolic of the acceptance that I needed to give myself. And I still have that in my own reading room, that I do tarot readings and wisdom card readings, and it's just very, very beautiful. Yeah, they're great. I mean, I've given these to friends that live overseas. That's the Aradia, the other one. And they're just wonderful. And the book, obviously, that describes the... I remember I was in Canada and I did a reading for a friend over there, and they got autumn leaves, and that was interesting. But they're just very, very interesting, and they really connect well, you know, the descriptions of each of them too. So I think it's fantastic.
It's interesting. I went to, about 2 years ago, Martine and I were, one of our authors, Alana Fairchild, she was having a meditation, kind of moving meditation kind of session, and we were in Sydney. We went to see it and be part of it. And this guy comes up to me and he didn't know I was going to be there, and he pulled out a set of universal wisdom cards that he had in his pocket or in his bag or something, and they were like so worn.
Isn't that beautiful?
And he apparently brings them everywhere with him,
Oh,
which
that's
was
so wonderful.
really touching. But they were like so worn. They were
It's
just, and he
like,
just,
do you want a new packet?
no, he didn't. He just apparently brought them around everywhere. So that was nice. It's nice to have that sort of feedback.
Yeah, that's gorgeous, isn't it? Yeah, I think they were probably the first. Oh no, someone gave me the Doreen Virtue ones, but that's the first one that I bought, and I do love it, although mine aren't as worn. So oh, thank you so much for having us and
Thank you.
and telling us a bit about your wonderful stuff. And just the final, just this one. I even had that as my Facebook profile shot for a while. Tony doesn't know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's the original. So that's always hanging over the healing.
Yeah. That's just beautiful,
table.
isn't it?